about the different mediums. You obviously have a weekly television series, a terrific show. I mean, it gives you all kinds of opportunities to do different things, which I imagine you would have to take a series that you could do this kind of thing in How to Get Away with Murder. And then, you know, your stage work, Tony winners, you know, well before Fences even, and really grew up on the stage in a lot of ways. Yeah. What is the difference for you between those three mediums, movies, television, and stage?
I love the stage. That's one of the differences. And one of the reasons why I like the stage is it just fits me. Because the thing with television and film, there's all these other elements that come into play. Does the audience find you likable? You know, do people want to sleep with you? You know, are you too old for this? I mean, there's so many other elements that come into play. Whereas in the stage, when people come into the theater, they know that they're coming in to listen to a story. Right. Nothing is about, you know, I'm coming in because I want to know that I want to have sex with the lead character. Or I really am coming in because I want to like the person. Yeah. They understand that wherever the narrative is going to take me, I'm willing to go. There is at least that understanding. I operate well with that. Because I know I don't have to worry about the other stuff. So when all that other stuff is stripped away, all I have to think about is the work.
That's cool. And I heard you say, you know, they're coming to see you, and that's what you owe them. What you're doing, it's all about you, really. Absolutely. There. Which I thought I've never heard that described that way. Well,
that's
before.
The power of the art form. Yeah. That's it. The power of the art form. It's like someone said. A friend of mine ran into a woman when she was jogging, and this woman said, "Oh, I used to love the theater. You know, I don't go anymore." Because she said, when you go to the theater, when you walk out, you kind of have to feel the way you do when you go to church. Now, not to say that everyone goes to church, but you know what I mean by the metaphor. It's a feeling that once you walk out of the doors, that you feel transformed. Yeah. That something about your humanity, the way you see other people, the way you see yourself is shifted in a way. Okay? And the only way to do that is not to make the audience comfortable. It's not to shrink your world to meet theirs. They've got to come into your world. They have to. Yeah. They've got to come into your world. Yeah. They've got to come in locked and loaded. They got to come in with an open heart, which takes a lot of courage. I understand that. Yeah. is to look at something on stage that maybe you're struggling with in your personal life and see it transform and go, wow, that's me. Yeah. Or that could be somebody else. Really? And to want to look away at times, but knowing that at the end of the day, when you walk, that you're not the person you were when you walked in. Yeah. So it is my job not to give them the Brady Bunch.
Yes. Well, thank God.
I don't know. Some people wouldn't believe. Some people want the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, maybe. But I know you two. You also have your own production company with Julius, your husband, and Juvie Productions, I think it's called. And you're developing very interesting projects, things that are really important, that things would never get made unless the passion of the person that's bringing it there. Like, are you doing the Barbara Jordan projects?
Barbara Jordan biopic that Tony Kushner is helming. That's a big one.
Wow.
Well, it's a big one for me.
Yeah.
You know, but also just some of the television shows. American Coco with the great Deara Kilpatrick. She's a young actress out of NYU. I call her the new Black Lena Dunham. Oh, wow. And it's a dramedy about a race detective. You know, she goes out and she deals with sticky racial situations, and it's very, very, very funny, and it's very poignant, and Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire, something we sold to Netflix about the whole Brooklyn Tabernacle and their story. So it's faith-based, but it's faith-based in the best way. It's about people who are broken. People who are broken and people who are imperfect, who have come to that church to put that choir together, and somehow in the midst of that are healed. They're healing. They're feeling a sense of comfort, a sense of belonging. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that's sewn up in a neat package. Head games, Larry and the Zip Coders, we have so many projects. I always say that I'm just riding the coattails of my husband, who really is the driving force in front of Juvie, really, because he's a man of great vision.
But it's using the power that you have as an actor to get these things done that wouldn't get done otherwise. And that's something you could just go and, you know, do your jobs on movies and TV and on stage or whatever, but you're actually putting stuff in here and working on that and bringing it from a certain level.
Absolutely. Well, I know that I'm 51. I'm an African-American actress of a certain hue, of a certain size, all of those things. And I know that I definitely would not have reached this point in my career without people who had the vision and the scope to see my talent, and without those different narratives where I could fit into. So that's my way of giving back, of passing the baton on to other actors, voices like me, because that's the only way you're going to slowly see change. I mean, people talk about the diversity all the time, Oscar's so white, all of that. And what's missing in all of that is that individual's contribution to changing it. You know, you can't change it by constantly criticizing it. You can't change it if you don't plop down your money for a ticket to see one of those so-called diverse movies. And you can't change it if you're a studio exec and you're not greenlighting those stories. Then there will be no change. Because the talent is out there, the voices are out there.
I love that. And you worked with Denzel before, not just on stage, but you were in Antoine Fisher.
Yep.
So you actually worked with him as his first gig as a motion picture director.
Yep.
Yeah. What was that like in comparing, doing it again here with him on film?
You know, I thought he was a great director then, and I think he's a great director now. I'm a friend and a fan. That doesn't always happen. But I think he absolutely is one of the greats in the sense that I always believe him. I always believe he is who he says he is. I always feel like he makes choices that are different, that are interesting, that are grounded in truth, sensitivity, strength, everything. I mean, you know, who would have thought of that one scene where he's being beaten in glory and you see the strength and the resolve of, you're not going to break me, but at the same time, you're breaking me. It's beautiful. And as a director, he brings that same level of honesty and dedication, I think.
Is that what you need as an actor? You go deep into that kind of personal thing to bring that out? Because I've seen that emotion come through, and I'm wondering, where does it come from? From doubt and so many other things I've seen you in, and I wonder, how do you bring that up? So it looks so effortless in some ways, which is what a great actor can do, but I'm wondering.
Well, I feel like that's my job. My job I always feel like when people walk through their lives, they have secrets. A lot of actors say, what's your secret? You know?
Right.
I believe there are secrets. And I believe that once we walk out into the world, though, we put on the mask. Because usually that secret is grounded in shame, horror, and the feeling that if it ever came out, you would be judged. You would be labeled one of those people. And so sometimes people carry those secrets to the grave. And in walks the artist. And what we have to do is we have to take the mask off. We have to expose. We have to be private in public. Now, being private in public when it's all nice and sexy, like doing a sex scene once you've had 5 months in a gym, that's one thing. Doing the sex scene where you got a stomach and some stretch marks, or if you have a secret of, I don't know, of being something so putrid that you don't want anyone to see. Listen, it's hard for the actor to expose that, just like it's hard for the person to expose that. But that's our job. That's why people come to the theater. It's Arthur Miller says it best. He wrote because he wanted people to feel less alone.
Ever the role model as well as everything else. Thanks, Viola.
Yep, thank you, Pete.
Thank you so much.